Well, Meghan has just proven all of us right. And if you want to know what I'm meaning by this, well, this is the video for you. Not only that, in this video, I'm going to be discussing Harry's latest stalker. And we're going to get into that as well. So if you want to find out the truth, then this could be the channel for you. So as you are still here, then just a little reminder to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you do not wish to miss future uploads. That being said, go grab yourself a cuppa, which is your drink of choice, as you sit back and relax as we get into some tea with some therapeutic knowledge. So for those of you who have just joined, you've never watched me before, and for the rest of you who know this bit, you can fast forward. My name is Ems, I'm a qualified UK therapist, and I have been in this field for well over 20 years. I have been fascinated by psychology, the way people behave, not just what they say, but reading between the lines of what's not being said. And with the knowledge that I have, I bring you these type of videos to help you perhaps understand also that type of body language and behavior, if maybe something is going on in your life and you just want to get to the bottom of what it is. So yes, today's video, well, if you haven't seen my other video, then please go and watch it first, because that will then explain this. If you haven't seen the video that Meghan put out, which apparently she has now taken down. But not only that, she has come out, well, no, okay, let me just say a source, a person close to her, which we know is her, has said that it's us that are the problem. We are. I mean, gosh, if only we all knew that we are the problem, not her, it's us. And the mainstream media that are the problem for making the connection of the video footage that she herself put out, but it's us that are the problem because we made the connection. Right. If that isn't classic narcissism, I don't know what is. Let's not take accountability. Let's gaslight and say that it's everybody else that's the problem. So apparently, Meghan didn't know. She didn't know that the place that she filmed was the area leading to the tunnel where the late Princess Diana had that tragic car crash. I think Meghan needs to stop treating the rest of us in a sense, how stupid her fan base is, how delusional her fan base, her cult fan base is. Because most of us that use critical thinking would know that if you didn't realize, well, okay, so we're going to get to the fact that one, the hotel that she stayed at was 3 minutes away. So you know, by booking that hotel, that you are potentially going to take the same route home. It's literally on the way. It is 3 minutes drive away from that area. So firstly, why would you book a hotel that is 3 minutes away from the area? And the reason I believe is because it's plausible deniability. She can say, which I'm sure she probably would, well, this was the only hotel that was available, and I just didn't know. And so of course we were driving home and I just happened to film myself driving home. Now, okay, if this wasn't someone that was a malignant narcissist, I would think, okay, but still, if you're going to say, first of all, you're going to Paris anyway, so Paris is going to be particularly triggering anyway to a member of the royal family and to her husband, Harry, given that that is the area his mother died. So you've got that first and foremost. You then have the fact that she's taken Marcus Anderson. And I think there is something particularly triggering about Marcus Anderson, probably to Harry. Now, some have said, and I do, well, could possibly believe this, is that Marcus Anderson was the one that secured the invite and she was his +1. because it's also stating that this was a surprise visit by Meghan. So is that conceivably possible? Yes, because we do know that Marcus Anderson is potentially connected. But however, I then think, well, why hasn't she gone before? Why hasn't she gone to other things? If Marcus Anderson is now still as connected, bearing in mind he's very, very quiet behind the scenes. We don't really see him out and about with her a lot. Why now? What's the significance now? So could it be connected to the Netflix docuseries that she's potentially possibly doing in reference to Princess Diana? So could it be that she has secured the invite and she has spoken to Balenciaga and said, we are filming a documentary. I would really like an invite. You could then be on this docuseries and, you know, it would showcase the brand, etc. I would really like to secure an invite. Is that possible? Absolutely. Is this something that she would do? Absolutely. So you have the fact then that that could have happened, but it also could be that Marcus Anderson was the one that secured the invite, didn't tell them that Meghan was coming, and then just suddenly turned up. But as I've said, Meghan likes to control things. She doesn't like to take things by chance. She doesn't like to take the risk that she could be turned away or something embarrassing could happen. So the fact that she just potentially turned up, not knowing what could potentially happen, I'm not inclined to believe that, because she likes to control everything. She likes to make sure that wherever she is, the environment is secure, so she can be confident. Because if you look at the way she behaves, when she first gets out of the cab, etc., she seems pretty confident, but then when she leaves, not so much. So it is very possible that she did secure the invite. She took her camera crew along for this docuseries. And she took Marcus Anderson because, well, he is connected perhaps. And she also, I believe, uses him as a buffer. So she has him as almost like a security blanket, so she can take him. Because if you look at the way she behaves, she was always walking in front of him. Now, it's possible that he lets her do that. He enables that side of her, very possibly, because there's a reason why these two have stayed connected. So you have that, the way that she then sort of behaves when she's sitting in there, it looks like she's emulating Victoria Beckham. And like I said, I've called this from the beginning, that she wants a clothing line. She wants the sort of level of fame that the Kardashians have, that Victoria Beckham has. And one of her obsessions is the Met Gala. And interestingly, one of my subscribers actually emailed me this as well. So in the same thinking is that she is desperate to get an invite to the Met Gala. So what can secure that is if she has her own clothing line. And so I think that all of these things are potentially possible with her. But this coming out and now saying, I had no idea. She could have stayed anywhere in Paris, anywhere. But she chose a hotel that was 3 minutes. And I think that she used that as an excuse. So she can potentially say, I didn't book the hotel, somebody else did. It just was a coinkydink that it happened to be 3 minutes away from where your mother died. But there's me filming myself, you know, no cares in the world of filming myself of where, leading towards the tunnel where Princess Diana died. But what's so brilliant about this, and I just had to laugh, was the amount of her cult fan base that was saying, no, she was nowhere near that tunnel. You've got it all wrong. She was, it was a different tunnel, different area. So, you know, you haters can go off and do one. And Meghan's just said, yeah, it was, but I just didn't know. So for all of her cult fans that have just offended her and said, it was nowhere near, we're all making it up, she's just come out and admitted it and basically said, yes, it was, but I didn't know. And it's you guys, you're the sick ones for making the connection. No, we didn't make the connection, Meghan. The connection's there. You made the connection by filming yourself, driving the same route. Not only that, driving it at night time. Why couldn't you have done it during the day? I mean, to be fair, it still would have been bad, but she did it at night time. in a sense, emulating the same drive. And do you know what? And I would not put it past her to have videoed it at the same similar time. I just wouldn't. To just create more of an impact with the fact that this was aimed at Harry and William, in my opinion. Because there is no way that she wouldn't have thought about that. She knew exactly what she was doing. The fact that she's doubled down and said that we're the problem, she's, angry about this is my family. I can't believe people are so sick. No, Meghan, you are the one that is sick. Again, taking zero accountability, because as I said, if she was innocent and she hadn't thought, because let's face it, we're human and we can make mistakes. I mean, it's a pretty big one. But say, for example, she just didn't think and she didn't know. What she would have done was said, oh my gosh, I am putting out a public apology. I am so sorry that my video has triggered so many people who loved Princess Diana. This was thoughtless. I just didn't even think about it when I put it up on my stories or whatever. And I am really, really sorry for the upset this has caused, not only to the public, but potentially to my husband and my husband's family. I would have probably not believed it, but I still would have had a little bit more, I can't even say the word respect, because I wouldn't have had respect. Because at the end of the day, it takes a decent person, firstly, not to do it in the first place, but secondly, to own it. If you've made a mistake, if you've got something wrong, you own it. Because whatever the consequences are, you have to deal with that. And if we're going to look at this in the real world scenario that I always try to do, if you do something, it is better to tell the truth and face the consequences, because just because you do something and you're sorry about it doesn't mean that there are not consequences to that. But you own it. You say you are sorry. If you mean you are sorry and you say it and you're like, you know what, I respect the fact this is going to upset somebody or anger somebody, and I'm just going to have to take that on board. If you've upset a friend or a family member, the consequence might be that person doesn't want to talk to you ever again. But unfortunately, what some people will do is they will lie, because they don't want to face the consequences of what they've done. So they will double down and lie. Now, I'm not saying that every person that lies does it for malicious reasons, but when we strip it back, it is because we don't want to face the consequences. We don't want to tell somebody that we've done something so bad that this could hurt them, and then the repercussions of that is that they could react with that hurt or with that anger and frustration, and obviously show us that what we did was wrong. So this is what Meghan has done. She knew what she was doing, but rather than just either say nothing or admit that what she did was wrong, she's gaslit and flipped it and said that we are the ones that are wrong. We are the ones that are the problem. The mainstream media are the ones that are the problem, because they made the connection when the connection was there. Again, so she put the video out, not us. She did. But because we've picked up on it, and because it's escalated, and because now the mainstream media have picked up on it, and because a lot more people are saying, hang on a minute, and it's now overshadowed her Paris Fashion Week moment in her mind, this is what's annoyed her. So instead of it being about her and I keep saying Passion Week. Paris Fashion Week, not Passion Week, because it's not been about that now, and it's now switched to, she has created this insensitive video. That's what she's annoyed at. But still, this frustration for me is when you look at the mainstream media, like when it's been on GB News or wherever, they're still doing this. Well, we don't know whether Meghan knew what she was doing. Come on. How do you not know by now who she is? Because if the rest of us can see it, you can see it. I am so tired of certain news outlets having to sit on the fence. It's like, well, you know, she might not have realised that she did it. Yes, she did. Because why not film anything else? Why film that? Why film it at that specific time? Why come out with this angry statement from a source that says that Meghan knew nothing? You know, she didn't realise. And now she's taken the video down. So if she's completely innocent, why have you taken it down then? You know, it's so obvious to anyone that uses their brain to see what she's doing, to see that she's trolling the royal family. She's baiting the royal family. You know, you even know going to Paris, I mean, of all of the places you can go to sit through a fashion, whatever you want to do, you choose Paris as the first time you go. Come on, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science to see what she's doing. It's so plainly obvious to most of us, you know, but of course now their fan base, it would be interesting to see how they now flip this, because they've spent the time going, no, it wasn't the same area. And now Meghan has come out and said, yes, it was. I just didn't know. But yeah, so drop your thoughts in the comments as to what you think about this, because yeah, I'd be interested to read them, as I always am. And I know that most of you are on the same wavelength as me, but it's always interesting to see, and I sometimes have a little chuckle at some of the things that you do put in the comments. So things that I want to say sometimes but feel that I cannot say. I get into part 2, just to clarify, please like the video, please don't forget, and also subscribe if you haven't already. As most of you know, I do run a free therapy program, and it is the views that matter, but the subscribers do actually help the algorithm too. If you would like to support in other ways, of course you can. You can become a member, you can treat me to a cup of coffee, you can buy my bubble merchandise. If you want to also treat me to something, you can. I have an Amazon wish list, or if you want to buy Arthur something or the kitties, there is an Amazon wish list as well. So for those of you also who have asked about my products, the things that I wear, my skincare, my makeup, etc., I also have a Shop Me page now, which has all of the products that I recommend. And I promise you, these are things that I use myself. I do not recommend anything that I don't use and buy myself. These are not things that get sent to me. These are things that I purchase with my own money that I use because they work for me. So always just read the label, make sure that you're not allergic to anything. But if you want all the things that I use, my skincare, makeup, etc., go to that link. It's in the description box below, and click on that and you will see all the things that I add. I'm adding things all the time because just so you can see them. So that's for the people that have asked me about that side of things. There's lots of ways. You can also buy some of my bubble merchandise, which is going to be changing by the end of this year. So if you want to go and get your bubble mug, if you want to use a journal, there's hoodies, t-shirts, etc. Please go. There's even something for your pooches. There's little coats, etc. So go across there and treat yourself to something there. Yeah, so that's that. Everything you need is in the description box below. Right, so part 2, Harry. So it has come out recently that Harry apparently has a stalker. Now, conveniently, it's in the UK. Shock, horror, I know. He has a stalker in the UK. Now, interestingly, it's one person. And when I put this up on Instagram, a lot of people saying, sure it wasn't Meghan. But this person hasn't done anything. No, just this person has turned up to events, apparently that he's been to. I don't know about you, but maybe Harry is so confused in the fact that he has one fan that he's now accusing this person of being a stalker. So I potentially believe it's probably one of the cult squad, because they are the only ones that behave in that type of way. But he's doubling down with this because apparently now she was hiding in a toilet Firstly, I would want to clarify, why are you going into a women's toilet to find if there's a female stalker, unless they mean that she was in the male toilet? But how would she get that far anyway? But surely this is a fan. I mean, I know it's shocking probably to Harry that he has somebody that actually likes him, but how can you say this person's a stalker? Whenever we look at any celebrity, there are plenty of celebrities that turn up to these same events. They go to every single concert that, say, a celebrity musician is at. They might go to, anytime they turn up, let's say a book signing or whatever it is, they turn up. Does that mean they're a stalker? Or does it just mean that they're perhaps a super fan and they just I mean, come on, I mean, it's Harry, so I would be remiss to think that he's got a super fan. But anyway, it's like, so this person hasn't actually done anything, has not threatened him, not done anything, has just turned up to a few events that he's been at. Now, I could understand it if this person was hovering around his home, stalking them, just doing mundane things, following him. That's a stalker. Not turning up to events that he's put out there publicly of where he's going to be, and a person turns up. But isn't it surprise that it's in the UK? And of course, where is he what has he been banging on about for all eternity? How much he needs security in the UK because he feels unsafe. But he's happy to roam around London banging on various strangers' doors, like some kind of Just Eat delivery driver. That's fine. That's fine. He can come to the UK whenever he feels like it without any cares and worries in the world. That's fine. Because here's the thing, Harry. If you feel this unsafe in the UK, why do you keep coming back here? Stop coming. There is such a thing as video chat. If it's anything to do with anything, you could literally dial in and do a video call to somebody. You don't have to be here. The amount of times that he's turned up to something and he doesn't have to be here. And he has. Now, what I think is going on, what my little intuition, spidey senses is telling me is that, because as most of you know, and I'm sorry that I go on about it, but it is relevant, Archie is here in the UK. I think that Archie is with his real mother and he lives here. Harry does not want his every move to be scrutinised. He wants protection from the truth. He wants protection from anyone finding out the truth. So in his mind, if he has this security bubble around him, he can come in and go and he doesn't actually have to let anyone know. The public don't have to know, and he can come and do these things without being found out. So which means he can potentially go and visit Archie, whoever this boy is, because I don't even believe that's his real name, but he can come and visit and he's protected. He is protected if he has the IPP status. And this is why he wants it. It's got nothing to do with feeling unsafe, because I'm not being funny. If Meghan can fly all the way over to Paris, where, bearing in mind, the late Princess Diana was chased by Paps and that terrible, terrible moment happened, but she feels safe. But I think that's more probably to do with the fact that nobody chases her, nobody does anything, and yet, but still taking that risk of potentially something happening. But she feels safe to do that, but she doesn't feel safe coming to the UK. This is not about security. This is about him hiding the truth. He wants to be able to get away with things over here, and if he has IPP status, he can do that. And that's what I think. So this whole thing now of him coming out with this, I've got a stalker, and he's at risk again. Funny again how it seems to happen in the UK, because I'm sure that when they go out and about in the States, when they do things, there are the odd couple of people that turn up. So are they stalkers too? Anyone that turns up to the event is a stalker. I mean, honestly, it's probably just so unusual for Harry to have someone there that actually likes him that he's like, oh my God, it's a stalker. But it's ludicrous, because you are still choosing to come to the UK. It's like when you do something but blame somebody else for the fact that you've done it. It's like when you decide to go for I don't know, say you decide to go for a job somewhere, and then something terrible happens in that job, but you still decide to stay in that job, even if you get another job opportunity somewhere else. You're like, no, well, this pays more. But then blaming the company for the bad thing that's happened, but you could have left and you chose not to. This is how they behave, this victim mentality of, I could choose not to come to the UK, but I don't. But when somebody turns up to an event that I've put out publicly, they're a stalker and they're the problem. I'm risking my life by coming. If you're that much at risk, Harry, don't come. It's as simple as that. We don't want you here anyway, so just don't come. But of course, no, we can't have that. We can't have that. So now apparently the story is kind of getting more dramatic. Like initially it was that this person turned up outside and had to be body blocked by one of his bodyguards, and apparently now she was hiding in a toilet or a cubicle. So this person somehow got into the building. I mean, I would then look at perhaps the security of the building then, or maybe your bodyguards are not very good, because if you're whatever it is, because this person somehow snuck in, hidden in a toilet. So either she hid in a female toilet, and why would that be a concern of Harry's anyway? Or she hid in a male's toilet. I mean, ooh, if that's the case, why would you want to watch Harry pee? I mean, but anyway, so it's just so farcical. And anyone with a brain is going to see exactly what Harry's doing. It's like all of a sudden, we know this thing is coming up again. This is all about him creating this fabricated story of someone stalking him and he feels unsafe, when the person hasn't actually done anything. And I don't think Harry really understands what stalking actually looks like. But if we're going to take this on a serious level, this does anger me, because there are people that have been stalked. There are people that go through the most horrendous things. And Harry and Meghan take things that happen to real people, that are really quite traumatic and terrible, and they make a mockery of it. To Harry, oh, I've got a stalker, when this person's not actually done anything, hasn't appeared in any other area of his life, just turns up to events he's at that he puts out publicly. That's not stalking, Harry. That's just someone that's a fan. And it may be a little bit of an obsessive fan, but still a fan. They haven't done anything. When you have Meghan, who has lied about some of the things that she's done, there are people out there that have gone through those things, and it's very, 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 very traumatic. And to kind of put these out to lie is making a mockery of things like that. And again, we have the mainstream media colluding in it again, rather than calling Harry out and saying, where's your evidence? Where is this person? Because apparently if this person has been accosted and stopped from doing something, where's the photographic evidence? Where's the video then of this person? Why have you not called the police and had this person arrested? None of that. Because in my opinion, it hasn't happened. I don't believe it for a second. I do not believe it for a second. Or if it has, then they've orchestrated it themselves. They've paid someone to turn up at multiple events to make it seem that Harry's being stalked. And that's why, because why haven't they, if they know who this person is, if they know it enough to know it's the same person, why haven't they arrested her? Funny that. And that's what I mean. People like us, we use our brains. We look at the evidence. We look at facts. These two literally think that we're all stupid, that we can't work these things out. The way Meghan's behaving, the way Harry's behaving, it is so obvious. But until... and I say this every single time, until the mainstream media stop enabling their behaviour, till the royal family stop enabling their behaviour, it's going to continue. And I'm going to continue calling them out, because someone needs to. There are those of us who want the truth to come out, who want these two to stop being able to do what they're doing. And that's why I have put the email address of the humanitarian award that they are supposed to be being given in my last video as a pinned comment. So for any of you who want to email them and give your outrage at why someone like Meghan and Harry are getting given a humanitarian award when she aligns herself with Balenciaga, when they've aligned themselves with a company called Ethic, because let's not forget that. Let's not forget the fact that they have aligned themselves and have shares in oil fracking companies, with Facebook, with other online platforms that they are supposedly rallying against to protect children. They've got shares in them. They support these companies. This is all lies, all BS. It's my mission to keep calling them out. Because if we don't, the mainstream media lies that we get fed every single day, and it's not just about those two, it's about everything. They go unchecked. Now, I know that there's nothing much I can do to stop their behavior, but at least the more people that watch my videos, the more perhaps they become aware of things that maybe they weren't aware before. And if that makes a difference, eventually people like Meghan and Harry will go into obscurity because nobody is interested. Her wanting a fashion line, that's always been there, but will it be successful? No. Because nobody will be interested. Who is she going to sell her products to? Her cult squad, who have probably got pocket money? The prices that she's going to sell her clothing at when she decides, well, it's not if, she will try this. They're going to be crazy expensive because she wants money. And my belief is that she's baiting the royal family because she wants a huge divorce payout. That's what I think. I know that some people don't believe that she's going to get divorced from him, and all the time that she's able to utilize the titles, probably not. But if you look at what she's doing and you watch her behavior, she wants to be successful as Meghan Markle. She loves Meghan's, that she calls herself now. This is what she's doing. She wants to have the huge amount of money to be able to buy her way into things, which is what she's kind of doing now. And I believe that she doesn't want to be with Harry anymore. I truly do believe that. She doesn't respect him. That video and other things clearly show that. So I think that she wants, if she's going to get divorced from him, she wants such a massive payout, and we're talking millions here, that she can then go off on her own and she doesn't need him anymore. But I think the royal family have said no, because obviously they've got to okay everything. It's not just Harry going, yeah, okay, let's get divorced. It's not like how we would probably do it, you and I. It's very, very different. And I think that they've said no. So in a sense, what they're doing is they're forcing Harry and Meghan to stay together, which is going to be angering both of them. And it wouldn't surprise me that when Harry came over here to talk to his father, that he probably pitched that again to him about getting divorced from her. He wants to do his own thing. She wants to do hers, but together they have to make it work because there is no other option right now. She's got nothing right now. And in a sense, neither has Harry. The only thing Harry's got is that he still is obviously a blood royal, unless, well, I know some people think that he's not, but anyway, let's say for argument's sake he is. Whereas Meghan is obviously, the only thing she's got is that she is married to this blood royal, but that's it. But the minute she gets a big payday, or they okay it, this divorce will happen. And I think that's what she's doing. She is baiting them to the point where they will want rid of her. And they will get to a point where they were like, do you know what? We don't care about the money now. We just want her gone. We want her out of the royal website. We want her gone. Just pay her. And I get that. And I get that you would get to that point. And that's what I think she's banking on. She's baiting Harry, affecting his mental health. And it's probably the only one time that I have some sympathy for him is what she did with that video was so cruel. And even though I don't particularly like Harry, that's cruel. That's on another level. You know, that really is. of course, all of my sympathy is obviously towards William and Catherine and the other royals. But yeah, but I think that's what she's doing. She is baiting them. Because she's still tied. She's still tied. But I think what she forgets is that once the royal family are done with her, and she is then just Meghan Markle, or whatever it is that she wants to call herself, any sort of maybe protection that she has, that's going to be gone. So I think that they're going to have to put something in place also to stop her being a blabbermouth, because I think that's you know, hence why she's often threatening, you know, I have not signed anything, you know, I could say what I wanted. So I think, yes, all of that as well. But like I say, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know, you know, what are your thoughts on the whole thing with Harry, the whole thing with Meghan, because as always, I do love to read them. I'm sorry that I don't get to all of you, because obviously there are a lot, but you know, I do try to answer and at least read as many as I possibly can. But yeah, but thank you so much for listening as always. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, whatever you are doing. Don't forget to head across to my Bite-Size Tea channel to please go and support there as well. And I will be covering other topics other than Harry and Meghan over there. So if you're sick of them here, go across and support there. So that's it. So like I say, have a great weekend. And as you know, I love you. I appreciate you. But most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye.